Sasha Banks, the boss, the standard, the blueprint. Becky Lynch, the Irish lass kicker, the man. Charlotte Flair, the queen. Bayley, the role model. These icons of the women's evolution make up the 4 horsewomen of the WWE. These 4 women did something that seemed impossible 15 years ago. They made me and most of you out there take women seriously in the squared circle. Thanks to these 4 women, I no longer have the need to change the channel or cringe as much as I used to when it was time for women to take the spotlight in the ring. It took years, hence the use of the word evolution, for WWE to change how they treated and perceived female wrestlers in the past. Basically, Trish, Lita, Mickie James, Beth Phoenix, Michelle McCool, AJ Lee, and Paige crawled so the 4 horsewomen could fly. They took the torch from those who came before them and launched it further than I could have imagined. It's because of these 4 women that I genuinely focus more on what a female wrestler has to offer in the ring in terms of skill rather than what they're wearing or how they look. With all of that said, this is my personal ranking of the 4 horsewomen. I'll be doing this very differently though. I'm ranking these women from first to last or best to worst. This ranking is based only on their in-ring ability and nothing else. Ranking them according to their accomplishments in terms of title reigns would be unfair in my eyes. This video is about who I think is the best wrestler among the 4 according to the following criteria I drew up: moveset, fluidity and sharpness in the ring, and lastly, my interest and investment in their matches. I'll get right into it with which woman takes the first spot for me. Number 1 is none other than the queen herself. Yes, the one and only Ric Flair's daughter, Charlotte Flair. Now before you go into a fit of rage and stop this video, just hear me out. Keep in mind, this is my opinion. You don't have to like it, it's not fact, but the least you can do is listen to why I ranked her as the best horsewoman. I feel like Charlotte has a perfectly balanced moveset compared to her counterparts. She is great on the mat and can trade submissions with the best that WWE can offer. She can use her power and strength when she needs to. She also incorporates some greatly executed aerial action in her matches. But the most important skill in any in-ring performer that they must have is the ability to make the opponent look good. I feel like Charlotte's ability to sell her opponent's offense is underrated. If you doubt this, I suggest you go and rewatch her last women's standing match with Becky Lynch at the Evolution pay-per-view. The match was incredible and is one of Becky's best matches. This made me realize how other wrestlers tend to have great matches when facing Charlotte. Her fluidity in the ring, the way she moves, how fast she moves, and the way she executes her offense is another aspect of her in-ring performance where I believe she has the other 3 women beat. I never watched a Charlotte Flair match anxious about her botching a move at some point. Not saying she doesn't botch once in a while, but it's rare that she does, especially in a huge match. I almost never go into a Charlotte match with low expectations, believing it's going to suck. This is a testament to the work she puts inside of the ring. She's mostly hated because she's overpushed by WWE, but to that I say, watch her in the ring and maybe you'll see why she's favored by WWE management so much. The only other woman I can think of who's on par with Charlotte in terms of wrestling skill is Asuka, and that says a lot. The second best horsewoman for me is the boss, Sasha Banks. Sasha is personally my favorite horsewoman, so placing her at number 2 was painful. Sasha is similar to Charlotte in that she has knowledge in submissions and she has shown her prowess in this department. She has the most exciting moveset compared to other women, and I have to say I love it every time she uses the Meteora. Whether off the top rope, the apron, the stairs, it just looks cool and effective. The bank statement is also one of my favorite submissions with the coolest transition I've seen in WWE. However, I noticed in the past that Sasha was prone to botch certain moves in the ring. The best example I can use to illustrate this is the suicide dive Sasha used to do. I remember being extremely concerned for her safety every single time she jumped through the ropes onto her neck. She also uses the frog splash. which I believe is the worst frog splash I've seen in WWE's current roster. Storytelling in the ring is one thing that Sasha does better than any of her peers. Whenever she's in the ring, especially with a great opponent, Sasha gets me invested from bell to bell. She can make me hate her as a heel but adore her as a babyface, just through her storytelling in the ring. She's recently gotten to undeniably prove her credentials in the ring. Her sharpness is on point, her transitions are spectacular, and she not so long ago had a brilliant match with Carmella, who's good in her own right, but isn't the best wrestler, although she's improved a lot. Sasha isn't called the standard for nothing. Bayley comes in at number 3. The role model seems to have her best matches against her good friend Sasha Banks. I don't doubt her wrestling ability, it's just I've seen Bayley wrestle Sasha many times and she hasn't elevated any other competitor in the ring aside from Sasha. I haven't seen her at her very best in the ring except when she's against Sasha. And this is like with good reason because their chemistry is out of this world. Her moveset is not my cup of tea. It's not the type of wrestling I like to watch. It's slow and methodical, and maybe there are many of you who like that, but it's just not for me. Bayley's best work is in her grappling and mat game. Other than those two aspects, I just feel like she tends to hold back in matches and not really go all out to show how really good she is. I only ever get to see how truly good she is when she goes head to head with Sasha. The decision to rank this next woman last might be highly controversial, but you have to remember this is based on in-ring ability, and the man, Becky Lynch, in my opinion, is sorely lacking in this department. Of course, she's not the worst wrestler ever. She has a great deal of experience and was trained by Finn Balor himself. The problem I have with her moveset and her execution in the ring is that it looks rehearsed, which takes me out of her matches most of the time. Becky wrestles like she doesn't really want to hurt her opponent or herself. I know this is the point of sports entertainment, but the art in professional wrestling is making everything seem very real. With Becky, I find it hard to suspend my disbelief. She doesn't move fluidly enough in the ring for my liking, and I find it hard to get energized by her offense. I enjoyed her matches with Asuka and Charlotte, but for me, Becky's more of an appealing character rather than a proficient wrestler. And this is not a bad thing at all because that's what pro wrestling is about. Interesting characters in intriguing storylines. Thank you very much for watching, guys. This is Ring Banter. I'm Kat. And what do you guys think? Did I get the rankings right? Let me know. In my next video, I'll be discussing why SmackDown is the A show. So don't be shy to comment below, like this video, and most importantly, subscribe, guys. Peace.